Hello and happy Wednesday. Today on the Busy Bride podcast, we are chatting with recently married bride Meg Roth. She got married literally a year ago, like a year and a day ago at the time of recording. So it was so fun to recap the day with her, talk about her engagement, which was a really cool story, the planning process, and what went wrong on her day, like quote unquote went wrong, but how it ended up being an amazing day because of it, and how she was just left with all these amazing emotions afterwards. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Busy Bride podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella Marie, and I created this podcast to help you research vendors and learn valuable advice as you plan the most special and true to you wedding day of your dreams. Let's get started. Okay. Hello, Meg. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Hey, Gabriella. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Of course. I'm so excited to chat about your wedding day, which was almost exactly a year ago as we're recording this, which is very cool. Was it 367 days? No, 366 days.
66, yeah.
Yes, the day after their anniversary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So why don't you start out just by telling everybody where you got married, where you're based, and how long, I guess we already talked about how long you've been married for. Fun fact, let's throw that in.
Yeah, sure. So me and my husband live in Brooklyn, New York. We got married in just outside of Philadelphia at the Merion Cricket Club, which is a country club, but they have croquet. And me and my husband Ezra are big croquet players, which is very silly. And that is why we got married outside of Philly, because nobody's from Philadelphia. It's just like a destination wedding to Philadelphia. But it was fun. It's a really special place for us. We went back. We've done croquet tournaments there, and we went back and did one actually just recently in April. So it's just a very special place for us, and it was really beautiful.
It was very beautiful, and it's so cool that you guys play croquet. I feel like that's such a rare sport to be played, and it's so cool that you get to go to all these different like country clubs and like croquet courses, I guess, all around. Like that's such a cool thing.
Thanks. Yeah, it's all credit goes to Ezra because he introduced me to it. And yeah, it's just a nice, like very chill sport to play.
It's like, I feel like it's another form of golf almost, where it's like you just get to hang out with friends.
Yeah, you're just outside enjoying like nice weather because the season's in the summer, and yeah, it is very much like golf.
Amazing. Okay, so why don't you tell the story of how you guys got engaged, because that's also a super cool story.
Oh yeah. So we got engaged. So my husband is Canadian. So we've done a lot of trips to Canada over the course of our relationship. And one of them was to Charlevoix, which is like the kind of like the countryside in Quebec. And it was a ski trip. So it was March. And, you know, in Canada, right, it's cold for like ever. I think it snows until like May. It's crazy. Like, and when we were there, you know, in March, there's still like 10 feet of snow. And so we, one of the things we've done on our previous trips to Canada is they do it sometimes in the Northeast in the US where you take maple syrup, like pure maple syrup, and you pour it on snow, and you literally take a popsicle stick and like roll it up and eat it like a lollipop.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like so silly, but it's incredible. And so we were on a ski trip, and we were trying to find a sugar cabin, which is like the place where they do this kind of thing, where they will like do this sugar on snow. So we found this cabin that was like a short walk from our hotel, and they told us that they do this very nice like Quebecois special dinner every Friday night. So we're like, sign us up. Sounds great. So we have this dinner. Everything has maple syrup in it, like the entire every course.
Oh my gosh.
It was amazing.
Wow.
And so we have this very nice dinner, and like I can tell Ezra's like a little, he seems like a little nervous or something, and I didn't know he was gonna do it then, but I was just kind of like hoping. I was like, we're going on a trip, like maybe. And so we have the dinner, we go outside, we have some of the sugar on snow because of course they do it there. And then Ezra says, oh, do you want to just like go take a walk over here? There was like this other part of the like the kind of grounds of the cabin where it was like, covered in snow, and there are these like, twinkling white lights, and it was very, very pretty. And then he got down on one knee and he proposed. And I think the first thing I said to him was, shut up.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Just complete shock.
Yeah.
That's such a pretty spot too, with the fresh covered snow and the twinkling lights. Oh my gosh. What a great memory.
Yeah, it was really perfect. It was like very us, and it was also really cute because he was like, he was thinking like, he was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to pick out a ring by myself. He's like, I'm not going to be able to do it. So like, he was worried I wasn't going to like it or something. And so he tied a ribbon around my finger when he proposed in place of the ring. And so then we got a ring later, but it was just like it was really nice.
I didn't know that part. That's so
Oh,
sweet.
yeah.
And I've never heard of that. That's actually kind of like a good idea from Ezra. If he's like, I don't trust myself at all.
Yeah, it was.
I feel like a lot of couples will go together and go ring shopping when it's coming about that time so that the guy has an idea, but then it's less of a surprise because then it's like, okay, I know you're ring shopping, so it's coming soon. And so this way it's like, whoa, you're proposing. Oh my gosh, dream come true. And then you get to go ring shopping together afterwards. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it was perfect for that reason because I really wanted to be surprised. And so he was like able to do it in like a really romantic way.
I love that. Go Ezra.
Yeah.
So you guys were engaged for what, like a little over a year then?
Yeah, a little over
Did
here.
you like that length in regards to wedding planning and also just wanting to be married?
I thought it was a good amount of time. I mean, I would have been happy to get married sooner, but I guess given all the things you have to do, I think the timing did end up working out pretty well. One of the things that I didn't know before getting engaged that takes a lot of time is the dress. I didn't realize like how long that whole process takes because I had picked mine out in November and we got married in June and they had to rush ship it. There was like a rush fee for it. So yeah, so I think it did end up working out to be a good amount of time to like get the dress, get, the million other things you have to do ready. It was helpful.
Yeah, I think that also surprised me when I entered the industry is how long it takes to get the dress because they like the dress is not the dress that you're going to get. Like it is that dress. However, once you try it on, then you have to get it fitted and hemmed, and like all of these things need to happen. They need to add on things to bustle it sometimes. Like I didn't realize that bustling was an option that you had to like say yes to. They don't just come like that, and then you have to make sure it fits perfectly, and usually there's tweaks to be made. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It is super involved. Yeah, I'm the same. I did not know that. I like, when you try the dress on, they will kind of like clamp it, to like fit you and then they do your measurements yeah, it is a really intense process, but it's also fun. So I'm like, okay, look, I'm like Cinderella.
Yeah, like sure, I'll try a dress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Was that your favorite part of wedding planning? Like, what was the most fun part of getting ready for the wedding?
Yeah, I think the dress was the most fun. Yeah, because like, yeah, you feel like a princess. And like, I went with my mom and my sister, and the three of us are really close. So it was, we just had so much fun, and they were really good people to go with too, because my mom is very honest in like the best way. Like she'll be like that. I don't know if that's not right. But you need to hear it. So especially, and like white is not a forgiving color. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah, and like my sister had worked in fashion for a long time. She still does, but she was really helpful to like help me. Like she came to the later appointments where they were tailoring it, and she was really good at knowing like, should like the like armholes be bigger, like things like that, which like I would have never thought of.
Me either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool that you had her there to help with all those little details.
Yeah, she's the
But your
best.
dress was so pretty and it fit you so well. It was like, how would you describe it? Why don't you describe it?
So I did an A-line dress because I felt like this way, like my lower half is comfy. We're we're all like, we can dance. It's, I didn't have to wear like Spanx or anything, so it was like nice and comfortable. And then the top was like a square cut neckline, and it was sleeveless because it was June. I'm sure you remember, Gabriella. It was so hot that day.
It was so hot.
It was
It
crazy.
was so hot.
Yeah.
It
I was
was.
very glad that there were no sleeves.
Mhm.
And yeah, and it was just white. It had some boning like on the like torso portion, which was a fun detail. I liked that it was like pretty simple. I didn't want it to be like a lot of like, I don't know, like decals and flowers and things. Although I do think those are beautiful. I just like, for me, I just wanted some clean lines. And yeah, I loved that
Yeah,
dress.
and it worked really well through venue too because Merion Cricket Club, it kind of it kind of has the look of a mansion, I would say, like
Yeah.
a brick mansion, and it's very intricate and ornate. There's lots of details everywhere, so having a simple dress to stand out really worked very well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's such a good way that you put that. You're absolutely right. It did. Like I didn't think about it, but you're absolutely right. It was like there was like a lot going on in the space, so it was a good contrast, and like the spaces you found for us to take pictures were like just incredible. Like the that like ladies room, which like I know sounds weird, but it was like this really beautiful like pink lounge, and like I would never have thought of that, Gabriella, but like you found that location and it was perfect for the bride party photos and the like me getting ready photos. It was like, that was incredible.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I love that room. I walked in, I was like, "This is it."
Mm.
Um, it was like it was like a lounge room attached to a bathroom, so it was technically all considered the bathroom, but it was like a chill room. Like there were couches and mirrors, and you just kind of hung out there, and then the everything else was separate from that. But there was just this beautiful mirror, and the pink wallpaper was so pretty. And the photo of you like putting your really cute fluffy fuzzy pink shoes on was one of my favorite photos of the day.
Yeah, I love that picture too. I think I was telling you, Gabrielle, I made two albums because I loved the picture so much. I needed like every single one.
Oh my gosh. That makes me
And
so happy.
they're so good. And that one is in like every album. Yeah. And then that's the thing too, because that also was like, that felt very me because, yeah, like I had these like silly pink shoes and this like, in this beautiful pink room. And it was like Barbie summer. And it just was like a really nice vibe.
It was Barbie summer. I forgot about that. That's perfect. Oh my goodness. Um love. Love. Can you talk about the vibe of the wedding day? Like did it pan out of how you had it in your mind? Was it a little different? Like, just describe the day, how it felt, what it was like.
Yeah, so the vibes were just happy. Like I think I knew, I don't know. I think I like going into it, I think I always knew that like something's going to go wrong because you always hear stories about like nobody's wedding is perfect. There's always going to be something. And so I think I kind of like had that mindset going in that like something can happen and like it's okay. Just we're just going to roll with it. And things did go wrong, like so it was kind of like silly. So to start, we my one of my friends was like a late add-on to the hair and makeup list, so they put her at the top, which was I think her appointment was like at 7 a.m. And so we were staying in Center City, Philly, and then it's like I guess about like a half-hour car ride out to Merion Cricket Club. And so I go to pick up my friend, and she is a very like very put together person. So I pick her up at like 6:30 in the morning in my Uber, and I have like pajamas on, and she has like a full dress and heels, and she's just waiting outside her hotel.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was like, I love you. That's you.
That's amazing.
Those are her lounge clothes. Um,
Wow, go her.
yeah, if you can do it. And she, we were just silly. We were just making jokes. We had a great time. Of course, the bridesmaids came in later. And yeah, we were just happy. We were playing music. We were all joking around. I think there's like one picture of three of my friends. They have like sheet masks on, and like one friend has glasses, so her glasses are like over it, and they're all just like yeah, so we were just hanging and I think too, like everyone had good vibes. Like you had great vibes. Like the hair and makeup people did. Like everyone was just like in a nice, happy mood. I feel like we were just in a place where like we were just not going to be upset. Like we were just gonna be happy. And my mom was with us, and we were getting ready, and there's some really nice pictures that my sister took, and just on her phone of like me and my mom hugging. That was just like she just looked so happy. It was just like really nice. And then the things that did go wrong though were that it did rain that morning. And I knew, like, we saw the weather, like it had poured the night before at our rehearsal dinner. So like we knew it was going to rain. And her name is Kim, she is in charge of events at the Merion Cricket Club. And she was just very professional, like I mean, of course she was, but just the entire time, when we were planning this, she was, because the ceremony was supposed to happen outside. And she was like, we said, what if it rains? And she's like, I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And like, she's just, I was like, okay, great.
That's what you want with the venue coordinator.
Yeah. So I knew she was going to handle it. And she did. She, thought of everything. She said like, okay, we were going to get ready in this room, but it's actually outside it's not in the main building. And I'm going to have you get ready in the main building now because I don't want you to be like running back and forth in the rain. Like I would have never thought of that, but Kim thought of that. And then when it did, clear up by the time the ceremony took place. So, you took really gorgeous pictures of us outside on the lawn, which are just stunning. And I was so grateful for that. But it was kind of too late to change the ceremony location. And so it was supposed to be outside on the lawn where we took the pictures, but instead we had it on this porch, this like really nice, beautiful porch that runs like the whole length of the building. And, we're Jewish, so we're supposed to have a chuppah, which is just kind of like a structure, like kind of like a trellis kind of situation, like that just goes at the altar isn't the right word. I grew up Catholic, but now I'm Jewish, so I'm like, what are the terms?
I think it's like the arbor area. I feel like arbor is whatever there is there that's like not an altar, I think.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. That. Yeah. So that's where the chuppah is supposed to go, in the arbor area. And so, when we booked the venue, they said, we have this like thing outside, this like structure outside that we can use for the chuppah, and just get some flowers to put on it, and we're good. I didn't realize that I guess you can't move that structure. So it's if, had we had the ceremony outside, it would have been no problem, but they couldn't put it under the porch. So, and I didn't know anything about it until like after we were done taking our pictures on the lawn. The rabbi arrived, and she like hugged me, and she like whispered, "I don't know what to do about the chuppah. We can't move it." I was like, "What?"
Oh no, I didn't know that. Oh my
And
gosh.
I was like, "Oh my gosh." Because it is pretty important to this ceremony. So I was like, what? And apparently the DJ had in his car some just like poles and a sheet. And so they just made a chuppah. Thank goodness for the DJ. Oh my gosh. And so we ended up having Ezra's groomsmen like held like the poles, and then there was like a sheet draped over, which was actually kind of like really nice and moving, because it was like his friends were like holding it up, and the pictures you took of, his friends like standing there during the ceremony holding it, or like very emotional. So it really ended up working out really nice. And I think, yeah, I just wasn't like, I don't know. I just like wasn't going to get upset. I think me and Ezra both like, there's plenty of things we get upset about. Like we just weren't, I don't know. We were just like, okay, we're just gonna like do whatever. But I also think that like really the credit goes to like everyone around us, because everyone was lovely. Like everyone was happy and like excited and in a good mood, and like, so I really think the vibes were incredible because of everyone, including very much you, Gabriella.
Thank you. But yeah, I wanted like second that everybody at your wedding was happy. Like it was a very joy-filled day. Obviously, you guys were so happy what your wedding party. All of the guests just had smiles plastered on their faces, and all of the vendors, every single vendor that was there was just overjoyed all the time, and like truly loved being there, and like wanted to help celebrate and make it the best day ever. So that I think the fact that just every single person involved was amazing. That helped when things did end up going wrong. But I didn't even know about the HUPA part. Like it looked like that was how it's supposed to be,
Oh,
because I photographed other weddings where it was very, very similar, where it was a Jewish wedding, they had a huppah, and then they had people holding it who were important to the couple.
oh.
So, like, that seemed normal to me. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. This isn't anything out of the ordinary. So, from the outside looking in, it looked, like that's how it was supposed to be.
Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, and I kind of really liked like the way it ended up. I thought it ended up being like really nice. So I'm kind of glad it happened that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it. I loved your ceremony. And also, you had a separate ketubah signing ceremony that was so beautiful. Can you talk about that?
Yes, yes, that was really incredible, and that's actually one of my maybe even like my top favorite picture, which I need to talk about that picture in a second because it's from that ceremony. So yeah, so I didn't know this because so I was raised Catholic. My mom is Jewish. And then Ezra is Jewish. So when we got married, we're like, we're just going to be Jewish. We're just doing this. And so I didn't know this beforehand, but you have this really nice ceremony before the big wedding ceremony, which is your ketubah signing. And it's your rabbi officiates it. And it's a ceremony where you're signing your ketubah, which is like your marriage contract. And there's like a website called like ketubah.com, and you can order a
Oh my
ketubah.
gosh. Amazing.
Yeah, which which is like very cool. So you can kind of like tailor the language a bit to say what you wanted to say. Um, you and your partner sign it, and then you also have two witnesses sign it, and they're supposed to be people who you would take advice from, somebody you would like turn to if you were having a hard time in your marriage. And the rabbi had actually told us that she recently had been talking with her husband about something they were having difficulty like coming to a conclusion, and they called the people who signed their ketubah to help them figure it out, which was like pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. And so in the Jewish tradition, when you sign that ketubah, like you are married, like that is it. That's the real thing. But it's nice because it's also like this nice, like private, moment, with like just, you, your partner, the witnesses, the rabbi, our immediate family was there. So it was just like a very nice private thing before the big thing. Yeah, and it was really beautiful. And I was so glad you were there, Gabriella, because the pictures you took from that ceremony are like the most like emotional pictures of the whole day. And there's this one where it was right before we left that room that we'd had that ceremony in a separate room. And so me and Ezra were like separating because we were about to go walk down the aisle. So he was gonna go down first. And there's a picture of he kissed me, and it was a total candid moment. Like it was just like we were saying goodbye for a second, and you got that picture, and it's just like the best because it was like, just like, that was really us. Like, I feel like that really captured us, and the fact that it was just candid, and I just ordered some more pictures as if I don't have enough to hang up.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I put that one in it because it's like that. I think that is actually my favorite picture from the whole day.
That makes me so happy. I am so glad. And I love hearing stories like this because once I deliver the pictures, I don't really get to hear like what the favorites are or like why they are favorites. And I am so glad I was able to capture that moment, because that's it's just be like I just want to keep clicking just because those moments happen all day long.
Yeah.
And of course, like the portraits are beautiful, and they're guided in like the ceremony there, it's kind of guided through the reception, things are happening and you're guided through, but it's like all of the transition moments in between are some of my favorites, just like walking places together, even like those moments are like I love those candid. So I'm so happy that you have that picture and that moment's captured forever and that you love it so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh yeah, the best.
I'm so happy. um okay, and then do you want to talk about your reception? It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we were very like so our DJ was incredible. It was BBT Live. I think they're based in Philly.
I think so too.
Okay, yeah, they were awesome. DJ John Gill was our
He was
DJ.
great.
He was so good. He just, again, like everyone had amazing vibes. Like he was super nice. Like, of course, like we talked to him before, and he was just like nice, chill guy. And, we said to him, like, listen, we're millennials. Like, we want to hear like 2000s pop. That's
He
that's
delivered. It was amazing.
yeah, and he was like, I got it, don't worry. And yeah, it was perfect because we, like, me and Ezra just love dancing. It's weird, I don't know, like, if you've like found good places for this in Philly, but weirdly in New York, it's kind of hard to find a place where you can just like dance, because it's always like a cool club that's playing like not danceable music, and it's like hard to get into, and it's like not worth the effort. And so we really wanted to just dance, and we did. I did not leave the dance floor the entire time. And there was also this like very funny moment where like my uncle, I don't know if you were there for this, Gabriella, my uncle like got up onto the DJ area. Like I don't know how he got up there. He like I guess because the DJ was in this like balcony. And
Mhm.
at one point, my uncle just was up there dancing by himself with the DJ. I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Great job.
Having the time of his life. I love it.
Yeah, and also the pictures you took from the DJ area were also really incredible because there, it's everyone. So like everyone was on the dance floor. And so like, I have a lot of those too where you can like we can, pick everybody out like, oh, like there's like my parents dancing that, so like those shots are really incredible. There's one with like one of my friends and she's kind of like at the center of the dance floor and she has this blue dress on and she's just like it's
I know the picture, yes.
it's so good.
Yeah, she has her arms in the air. She is just dancing, and I don't know if she is kind of centered, and for some reason, I think the light is just catching her the right way, and
Mhm.
she stands out in that picture as somebody who's just having a great time. But yeah, I love those balcony shots. Whenever a reception venue has an option to go up to the balcony, I'm like, let me go up because you can get everybody in the picture, and it's so cool to just see everyone dancing, especially for like an opening dance set or a moment where everybody's on the dance floor. But I feel like at your wedding, everybody just was on the dance floor the whole time.
Yeah, it was really like exactly what we wanted. And because yeah, like I know some people say too that like they don't really have enough time to like have fun at their weddings because they're, doing a lot of the kind of stuff you have to do, talking to your relatives and things like that. So I was just really glad we were able to have fun. And also you recommended this, which was I'm so glad we did this, was the going around to every table. That was really awesome, and I think it also like made the guests feel good too because like it, we were like really involving like everyone in the like in the reception and in the pictures. So that was when you suggested like having the DJ play a song, like a long song, and go around to every single table and like try to get a picture with every table in the song. And I'm from New Jersey, so I'm a very big Bruce Springsteen fan. And so,
As you should be.
you know, and so he played Born to Run, and he did end up like I think he looped it, but that was really awesome. I'm so glad we have those pictures too because that's the thing too. Like I think you don't always get a picture with everyone at your wedding, So yeah, so I'm really glad we did that. So thank you for suggesting that.
Of course, I'm so glad that we were able to do that. I'm actually doing that at a wedding this Friday, so we're doing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
It is so cool because you're right, especially with a bigger wedding. Like, there's so much going on throughout the day that you really don't get to sometimes even talk to every single guest there. So being able to just to have a picture with everybody, at least as a group at the table that they're at the reception, is really cool to be like, okay, yeah, like they were there and this is who they were sitting with, and then they get that picture with the couple that they're celebrating. So it's a great trend overall. And I think it was really fun to do that with you guys.
Thanks. Yeah, we really loved that.
It was really cool. Um, okay, let's take a bird's eye view of
Yes.
everything. Um, what was there anything that had like more of an impact on you than you thought would, or yeah, like does anything really stand out to you that going into it you didn't really expect?
I think that I think just, I think just like the emotion of it. I think, because I think it's really easy to get like kind of just caught up in all of the extra stuff, like, which like is so much, like there's a lot of, like family politics, who's coming, who's not, like, the seating chart, like, are these people going to be mad if you put them together, like all those kinds of things. Um, and I think, you know, like, and sometimes for me, like, sometimes when I know it's an emotional time. Like my body, I just like am not emotional. Like I think I'm like too ready for it or something. But I really was moved. Like I really, I mean, and maybe that's like an obvious thing, but I think I really was like moved more than I thought I would be, um, which was it was very nice because yeah, I don't know, like I think you don't think about how much these kinds of things are going to mean to you until they happen. Um, and yeah, like sometimes it is just kind of this like indescribable emotional reaction to things.
That's beautiful. And I mean, it's right because you're you're planning so many other aspects of the day in addition to like the act of getting married. And
Hmm.
so, like you said, like there's just so many other logistics running through your brain and emotions to deal with and like the decision making, the amount of decisions you make leading up to a wedding are just so many. So getting to the day, and then just being able to like let all of that go and be fully present and like let the emotions just hit you. That's so cool that that is what sticks with you after everything leading up to it, that the emotion is like what lasts.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing too. I think like you captured that so well in our pictures. So like every time I look at them, I'm like, it's like very clear. It's like a very like visceral reminder, which is really nice.
That makes me happy. Ah, photos are amazing. I love photos. Oh, I love that. Um, okay. I want to get into some advice because I feel like
Yes,
you have a lot of great advice to give.
thank you.
Um, in like the planning process, when you were researching, hiring vendors, when you were putting the tables together and everything, is there anything that you think would be helpful for another couple to hear if they're going through this for the first time and they're hit with all these tasks? Yeah, is there anything helpful you think that somebody else could know?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest help for us was just using one of those platforms like Zola, like or the Knot or whichever one people want to use, because yeah, like they really do everything. Like like that's how we found you. Like it's just everything is in one place, like the invitations, the thank you cards, the save the dates, even like the place holder, like
Oh my
the
gosh.
yeah, like for the tables, like the name cards, you can get those on Zola too, and they ship and really quickly. um so I think that was like the biggest help, to just have like just use all of that. Your registry too is like all connected in there. So just like to use one of those services, because they just do so much work for you. And then I think also just kind of maybe like really thinking about like what is actually going to have an impact and what isn't. Like if you have, I know like some venues, you pick maybe like the furniture, like you pick the chairs or things like that. Like if there's like one, if budget is a concern, which it was for us, if there's like a cheaper chair, if it looks fine, like it's gonna be fine. Like I think just things like that, like because I think that a lot of this stuff, it just kind of needs to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think like when we were picking out our food, like it just needs to be good food. It doesn't have to be like the fanciest food people have ever had. And like also like thinking about your audience, because we at one point we're looking at this one venue in Brooklyn, which is a really incredible Japanese restaurant, but it's a restaurant, and so they're going to serve their food, and like I don't know if everyone wants to eat, like I don't know what people's tastes are. Like you want to make something you want to have something that's going to be like widely accessible, like a mass appeal. And so I think that helped us a lot, because it could just kind of made some decisions easier. Like it just took a lot of pressure off of us to just be like, this is going to be good. I would eat this. I think my, great aunt would eat this. Let's
Yes.
leave it.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
And yeah, like even like our cake, yeah, this was actually really helpful. Like the bakery we used suggested this. So, we didn't, I can take no credit for this idea, but, so that we used Bakery House and we got rave reviews on our cake. Everyone loved it. It was really incredible. And it was just like simple cakes. It wasn't like this big fancy thing. It was just like like one flavor icing in the middle. Great. And it just was like solidly delicious. And the bakery house had told us, they said, like, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to make one like smaller, nice, beautiful cake that we're going to decorate. And then we're going to make a big sheet cake. And so we'll just serve everyone from both things. It's going to be the same cake. It's just that like only a piece of it's going to be decorated. And that was like really helpful. It saved us a lot of money because, we had looked at other bakeries where they will make the full, we had 130 people. So like they will make a big, beautiful decorated cake that serves 130 people. And that's gorgeous. But it was a lot cheaper to just have like one really nice one that we cut and then a separate one that, was the same exact cake. It just wasn't decorated like that. So I think things like that are really helpful to just like, like even like our invitations, like they're beautiful, but they weren't like the fanciest invitations because I just think it doesn't matter that much, like it's, so I think maybe if people are worried about money like we were and just trying to like, just to try to like help with decision fatigue and try to like take some pressure off yourself. You just think about like what's actually going to matter to people and what is just kind of like pretty, but like not really going to have an impact.
That's great advice because, like, yeah, like you said, there's so much that goes into a wedding day. So deciding what has the most impact, what is the most important to you, like you said, like invitations to you are like, yeah, they're pretty, but like I don't really care that much. Somebody else who's like super into design would be like, I really care about the invitations, but I don't really care that much about the cake. So finding that thing for you, I think that's a great piece of advice to just narrow down what you spend your decision fatigue on.
Yeah.
It's like a bank. Like you only have so much in there. Oh,
Yeah.
that's such great advice. And then one more tip question. What's your biggest piece of wedding day advice for couples getting married?
I think just try to be calm. I mean, I know that's like a tall order. Um, just relax. No,
Easy.
yeah, just like try to like just focus on you guys. Like this is for you. It's really not for anybody else. Um, and that is like the most important thing. And like, you know, like the way it happened to me, things are going to go wrong. Like it's going to happen. It's just kind of inevitable. Just know that going in and just try your best to roll with it. Because, you're never going to get this day back. And you really, just like think about how you want to remember it. And like, you really want to enjoy it. You spend so much money on it. You really want to be able to have a good time and have a good memory. We also like really tried to focus on like us and what we wanted on that day without being like inconsiderate to anybody. But, like if you don't have time to talk to every single relative, like I think it's okay. Like you want to be able to have fun. Yeah, so I know that is a bit of a tall order because I very much understand the pressure. Like I remember thinking that like, the night before, like, I hope this is fun because we just got all these people. We made everyone travel here. We spent so much money on this. Like, it better be good. But, but if you are like happy and calm and enjoying yourself, like the vibes will radiate. So I think just as best you can, try to do that.
That's amazing. That makes so much sense. And I know it like I think you described it really well because people hear the phrase like, "Oh, just be relaxed." But the way you described it, it makes a lot more sense. Like, okay, these are the ways I can be relaxed, and if you know, just roll with things because it's one day. It's your wedding day, and it's a huge day. So soak it up as much as possible, and then the emotions will follow.
Yeah, yeah, they will. And yeah, if you're happy, everyone else will be. So like you can like kind of set the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, thanks so much for sharing your wedding day, Meg. It was so great to recap it with you. I loved your wedding day, so it was really cool to go through it again with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Gabriella. You really made our wedding day. So really, thank you so much.
I'm so glad. You're so welcome. That was such an amazing conversation. I love talking to Meg. She's just a ray of sunshine. It was so cool to recap the day with her. And I loved hearing like what her favorite moments were throughout the day and what her favorite photos were of the day too, because as a photographer, it's really cool for me to hear that. And I don't really get to hear that often. So it's cool to see what really stood out to her as the person who literally got married and who had their day documented like that. So that was so cool. I hope you love this episode too. If you did and you want to hear more like this, I would really appreciate if you would click that follow button so you can follow along and hear more from recently married brides and also some wedding tips from me as a photographer and also from other local vendors in the area who have a lot of goodness to share with you. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate your time. Now go hug your person, and I'll see you next Wednesday.